All right, for those of you just joining us, we have the pleasure of hearing from Gloria Asare, Toronto affiliate leader of the International Association of Black Actuaries. For this next segment, Gloria, I want to talk more about Iaba's services, what the things that you offer to those different groups of Black actuaries that we were just talking about in the prior segment. Can you talk about the various programs and events that Iaba produces each year?
Sure. So I already referenced the annual meeting. That is huge and draws so many people each year. It started out at maybe only 40 attendees. Now we have over 400. Last year, being in a virtual environment, we had over 1,000 people call in to some of the events that we had scheduled, and we will be virtual again this year. So hopefully everyone can attend as well. Typically, in partnering with the annual meeting, we also have a boot camp program, and that's really more of an interview prep program to help prepare our members for on-site interviews that normally happen at the annual meeting. We do resume reviews, mock interviews, and things like that to help make sure that our members are prepared when they are coming to speaking to different companies and looking for jobs. We have a number of other programs, though. We also have a mentorship program, which provides formal mentoring. I think that that's a really good option if you are either new to the IABA and you don't really know many Black actuaries there already, or if you're just looking for specific advice regarding your career or exams. Another program that we have is the exam prep program, it's a 20-week program that is specifically targeted to our members that are sitting for an upcoming FM exam. And the idea there is we give some financial support in terms of purchasing exam materials, facilitating times for members to meet and go over the material to make sure they're studying and making progress towards the exam date. And then we have a lot of programs. Another program that we have is also the scholarship program, and that's really amazing. It's open to university and graduate level members or students who are interested in entering the profession and pursuing it, just based on merit, their involvement in school, how well they're doing in school. They could be awarded anywhere between $1,500 to $5,000 in the academic year, which provides huge financial relief. I think I have covered most of the programs. I hope I haven't missed one, but but that's definitely a good number.
Yeah, clearly a lot of good things that Iaba is doing. For people that might be curious, especially let's talk about the annual meeting for a little bit. People that might be curious about, why should they consider going to the Iaba annual meeting, especially if they're not necessarily a Black actuary? Like what would be the reasons why someone might want to go, whether it's from an individual perspective or from a company perspective?
Yeah, I would say that there's such great value in just hearing different people's stories. I know that at this moment, there's so many DE&I initiatives and companies, and maybe a lot of people are even getting tired about hearing about diversity to begin with, but there's literally nothing like running into someone, hearing someone's story, their struggle to enter the profession, their struggle to be an actuary, and like really realizing like, oh, I actually get this now. And I would say that it's even more important to have people who are at leadership levels in companies who are meant to be driving the culture, the workplace culture to be welcoming, who are helping to implement some DE&I initiatives that the company is working on. I think it's great for them to get firsthand exposure to not only meeting individuals, but again, like some of the research or the great speakers that we have at the meetings talking right there and then about these really important issues, having that opportunity there to ask questions, to learn more in a safe space and see that there are other people who are like you, non-Black, at these meetings that are doing the same thing.
And then I would imagine, and I know I've looked at this before, but sponsorship opportunities for companies. I know one of the great benefits of sponsoring the annual meeting, there's an option to get a resume book, right? So basically that if you want to come and sponsor the annual meeting, there's not only the opportunity to collect resumes from potential candidates, and I know when it was in person, there was a networking reception as well, where there was an opportunity to actually meet these candidates and be able to get to know them a little bit more. So all of those obviously really good opportunities for people to not only support what Iaba is trying to do, but to actually benefit themselves and the companies they work for.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks so much for adding that. That's absolutely on point. One of the things that we are trying to have a lot of companies do is expand their pipeline for where they source candidates, where they source diverse talent. And literally, Iaba has a career fair built into our annual meeting each year, even if it is on the virtual environment. So that is really a good place to look for candidates, a lot of entry level, but also career changers and more senior level candidates as well.
Awesome. I want to talk for a few minutes about something that Iaba came up with recently. It's a guide titled Recommendations for Employers in North America to Increase the Number of Successful Black Actuaries. Can you elaborate on what this is for us as it relates to recruiting, workplace culture, compensation, and development? I think those are the three main areas.
Sure, definitely. So this is something that actually arose more organically during last year when all the protests and everything were happening in response to George Floyd being murdered. And so we sourced a lot of our different members, old members, present members, US and Canada, to come up with this guideline document. It's meant to be a really good kind of all-encompassing advice for employers as to how to increase their diverse talent. It's beneficial because a lot of the recommendations that we have, even though they are centered on Black employees, they do apply to other diverse groups as well. And like you said, it is broken out into the three segments: the sourcing, recruiting, and hiring. And there it's more about opening your mind to where you get candidates. A lot of employers do a similar thing to what they've done in the past, where they go to the same schools and the same people are going to those same schools to recruit. Whereas, like we just talked about, we have the annual meeting. There are other places where you can still get really good quality talent. Regarding the workplace culture, that provides suggestions for how to analyze and look at your culture and really question, is this contributing to all of our employees, including the diverse employees, really feeling a strong sense of belonging to this organization? How can we make our culture more inclusive? And then the third segment, the compensation and development, that gets to having organizations ask themselves the questions like, what are our numbers? Especially as actuaries, we should be looking at numbers all the time. Are our diverse candidates or diverse employees, are they making it through? What percentage are, what aren't? Why not? It's not the fact that they're not equipped or they're not intelligent enough. What are the problems? What are they facing? What are their experiences? And we provide suggestions for how to develop that talent and help them get to those senior leadership levels.
And to find that guide, I think that's available on Iaba's website. We can also send it out with the notes to this recording as well for those that are interested. Now, another interesting thing that Iaba came out with recently that I've looked at, it's up on the website, is the Iaba Pledge on Combating Racism and Fostering Support of Black Actuaries. So what is this? How is this different than the guide, and how can people support it?
Sure. So that is also something that came out around the same time, just last year. It does kind of go hand in hand with the recommendations document, but it is something that was put together by the Friends of the Board, and it is meant to be a means for companies and recruiters, because we do have two pledges, one that's centered for employers, and that one is called the Iaba Commitment to Change. That's the first pledge document. And we have a second pledge document that's called the Iaba Action Impact, and that one is positioned for recruiting firms. The focus behind both of them is meant to be a real core, tangible means of saying, I am committed to lasting DE&I initiatives that will really make an impact either in my company or in the industry. These are the steps that I am committing that I will take in moving towards that goal. Because and the reason why the pledge documents are really important is, while a lot of people have a genuine interest in or have genuine sentiments in relating with Iaba and our members, sometimes the means of tackling those changes and wanting to drive positive, lasting change don't really come through. Maybe people are looking at short-term strategies, maybe it's a fad that's going to pass. Truly, companies really should have a long-term 5-year, 10-year strategy to address some of these issues. The pledge document tries to help lay some of those things out such that they would be achieved if you are taking a long-term strategy to make a positive difference.
Awesome. And for those of you that are with us live, you can see in the chat we've dropped the links to those documents so that you can access them. And again, we'll have those accompanying the recordings of these segments as well.